they thought that how are we going to assert our hegemony in what had become a unipolar world? And the method they chose was to do it with pressure behind the scenes. They promised, just to take you through the examples, they promised Gaddafi to reward him, accept him into the international community, what they called their supporters, and he abandoned all his nuclear ambitions. Then they went into Iraq. Basically, the purpose was to destroy any country in the Middle East which asserted its own sovereignty. So whatever you think of these governments, Saddam, Gaddafi, Assad, they were sovereign states. They were not totally beholden to the United States. Saddam, ironically enough, more than most, and they were destroyed. There was no fundamental reason to do that, apart from putting in regimes which fully worked for you. So the notion that was dominant at the time of the Iraq wars, the war that Clinton waged on them via sanctions, the war that the Bush father and son waged on Iraq, it was designed to break the stranglehold of the Ba'ath and destroy its army, which they came close to doing during the First Gulf War, but didn't. They destroyed a large chunk of it by killing ordinary soldiers, what American generals called a turkey shoot. And then Bush Jr. said he was going to do it all using 9/11 as the pretext. As Condoleezza Rice said at that time, we now have a chance to remodel the world as we want. And that is what they started doing, providing one disaster after another. Iraq wrecked, its social infrastructure, the most advanced in the Middle East, wrecked. Nearly, they said, even the puppet governments put in place by the United States gave the figures, there are 5 million orphans in Iraq. Well, if you even count one parent dead, that means the casualty figures in Iraq must be between 1.5 million and 2 million people who have died. 5 million refugees from Iraq going into Syria, going into Lebanon, a few into Jordan, destabilizing Syria, and even more so Lebanon. So this was the balance sheet, and what has come out of it, if you look at it? Nothing. The development of more extreme right-wing religious groups who believe that secular liberals or secular socialists are incapable of defending us. There's only one way, which is to be just as ruthless as the United States. So there's shock and horror when they commit their crimes, like ISIS, but not the same shock and horror when the United States kills even more people, because it's supposedly our side. That's the world we live in today. And we haven't spoken, but we've come to it. The way in which the West backs Israel to totally crush all Palestinians' aspirations to even a tiny bit of sovereignty and independence is watched by people. They're helpless, they can't do anything, but that doesn't mean they're not embittered and angry. And we haven't seen the end of it as yet.